You know, they had been talking about building wells within 10 to 15 miles of the coast. And I hope that this tells them and shows them that that's not a smart idea. You know, had that well been 10 or 15 miles, this oil will be everywhere around this Gulf Coast. James Crowell, I'm the president of the Biloxi branch NAACP, and I'm also state treasurer for the state conference of the NAACP, and I'm on the national board of the NAACP. I've been living here in Biloxi for the last 37 years. I work at Keesler Air Force Base, and I retired from there about 5 years ago, right before Katrina. So now we look around here now where you see empty lots. There used to be homes here.
So was this hit by this part of the? Hit by the hurricane?
We had 6 foot of water here. That church right there, we had to be totally remodeled because of water went in our building here. We had 6 foot of water in this building. Where we're standing right now, the water would have been over our heads here.
That's kind of that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it would have been over.
I mean, we're not. How far are we from the shoreline?
We're about five blocks from the beach, and we're about 6 blocks from the Back Bay area. So we're right in between the Back Bay and the beach.
But it's still hundreds of yards. That is.
Oh yes, yes. But even when Camille hit, this area took water. The south side is somewhat higher than the north side. And what happens when the water comes in, the wind pushes it into the bay, the water pushes out of the bay up in here because it has nowhere to go. And so the peninsula gets covered, with water. I'm a soul food. I'm not really a person that was born here on the coast, but I like shrimp. I like oysters, I like crawfish, and I do suck the heads, I've learned how to do that. Unlike a lot of folks that kind of frown on that, and I did too when I first got here. But it kind of wears on you, and you have to suck that juice out of that head to really enjoy the crawfish. Of course, we put the corn and the potatoes and all that in there with those crawfish, and that's great.
Is that part of when people and families come together? Is that
every time? That's going to be a shrimp boil or crawfish boil. Got to be there. When you're having family reunion, and you got to have that boiled corn and boiled potatoes in that with those shrimp. That's just a standard right here on this Gulf Coast, And one reason because it's so plentiful, And then of course we have.
And you can go out there and get it yourself,
right.
You can go out.
You can go out and take nets, and you can shrimp yourself, and catch all the shrimps you want. Most of the crawfish though comes in from Louisiana. They have a lot of farms now, like they do catfish farms, and there's a lot of catfish that's been eaten around here now too. As you know, in the Delta of Mississippi, that's one of their big crops is catfish, farm-raised catfish. But there's nothing like a crab boil, or crawfish boil, or shrimp boil here on the Gulf Coast. And a lot of people take crab nets out, and they catch their own crab. People go out on the beach every day and with their rod and reel, and they go out and catch ground mullet, they call it, and they call that the Biloxi bacon. A lot of people eat that for breakfast in the morning, grits, eggs, and Biloxi bacon. And that's a standard. Everybody knows that right here. So if this environment is affected by this oil, all of that will change, and a lot of people don't know right now the total effects, and we did discuss that last night in the meeting, that it's going to cause some havoc, for this community if that happens. On the coast since Katrina, and we were determining the pros and cons of what would happen and what the needs would be, need assessments that would be if the oil does hit our beaches. And of course, a lot of people have health problems now, even from Katrina, and we more likely will see more health problems with the movement of the oil coming in to the waters here in Biloxi. There's still people suffering from some mental cases, anguish because of Katrina. This just doubles that, it's something else for them to worry about.
Yeah.
Will this affect them? Will it cause an additional hardship on those individuals? a lot of the business. This is the prime season for shrimp industry. We normally have our blessing of the fleet the first week in June, and then the people go out shrimping. They can't do it right now, even though the state waters are open for people to go shrimping, but the shrimps are just too small, and they normally get larger around the first or second week in June.
Right.
So we're looking at a couple of weeks from now that they're saying that this oil may be on our beaches within the next week or two. So if that's true, then it's going to kill our shrimping industry here in the sounds of Mississippi. A lot of people go out and shrimp themselves, just for their own consumption. They go out and do the shrimping during the shrimp season. Of course, that would be cut out, and that would cause maybe some problems there for what their food chain, their normal food chain. We also are looking at a lot of the restaurants around here depend upon the fresh seafood from the sound here, and of course that would be lost. They may be able to get seafood for some of the casinos, but it's going to cost more, and I'm pretty sure that's going to drive prices up, for shrimp and stuff like that. And for our poor people that we know of around this community, it probably won't be affordable for them to. Well, the thing that Biloxi has to, I think Biloxi is just like any other town in the United States, even though we might be on the coastline, but this has far-reaching effects, not just here in Biloxi, but all over the United States. So goes the Gulf Coast, so goes the whole United States. And sometimes we forget that about other areas of the country. We depend upon one another for different products, and so if the oil industry goes down, it affects the entire. If the seafood industry is affected here, even though we can import a lot of stuff, but that import price is going to go up once we become more dependent upon those things. So what we have to do is make sure that our environment, that we carefully ensure that these people who are out there drilling are using safe practices, because my understanding is that this particular well should have had the capability of having a thing that shuts off when something like this happened, and they didn't. And this was one of the newer wells that they had built within the last 5 years. So we got to make sure that the industry does what it's supposed to do. Obviously, somebody didn't go out and check to make sure that these people had built the well up to the specs that it should have been at. And so sometimes we do that to cut corners and save dollars, but look what happens when we do that. So a lot of times we don't want to put sprinkler systems in our churches, in our professional buildings, because the cost of the building goes up $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 or more. But the safety of having that sprinkler system, if a fire breaks out, far outweighs the money that you would have had to expend to keep that place safe.
Yeah.